name is Alex Thompson, and I am a paranormal investigator tasked with unraveling the mysteries that lurk in the shadows of our world. It was a peculiar case that led me to Yellow Creek, a town shrouded in darkness where the whispers of the unknown echoed through the dense fog. Yellow Creek. A name that sent shivers down my spine as soon as I heard it. It wasn't just the mutilated livestock or the sightings of elusive creatures known as sky guardians that filled me with dread. No, it was something deeper, something primal that whispered of ancient horrors lurking in the shadows. As I drove deeper into the heart of Yellow Creek, the air grew thick with the scent of fear and uncertainty. The fog seemed to thicken around me, wrapping me in its cold embrace, as if trying to suffocate me with its eerie presence. I had heard the stories, the myths that surrounded the Sky Guardians. They were said to be ancient beings, older than time itself, guardians of the night sky who watched over the world with eyes as black as midnight. Their appearance was said to be horrific, twisted and grotesque, with scales as cold as death and wings that blotted out the stars. But it wasn't just their appearance that struck fear into the hearts of the townsfolk. No, it was their insatiable hunger, their thirst for blood and souls that made them truly terrifying. They were predators, creatures of the night who stalked their prey with silent malevolence, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As I stepped out of my car and into the darkness of Yellow Creek, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The shadows seemed to dance and shift around me, taking on sinister shapes and forms that sent shivers down my spine. But I pressed on, determined to uncover the truth, no matter how terrifying it may be. For I knew that the secrets of Yellow Creek ran deep, and that only by confronting the darkness head-on could I hope to emerge unscathed. As I parked my car on the outskirts of town, a sense of foreboding washed over me. But I couldn't turn back now. I had a job to do. I had to uncover the truth, no matter how unsettling it may be. That's when I met Dr. Evelyn Thorne, an astrophysicist with a fascination for the unknown. Her eyes held a glint of curiosity, tempered with caution, as if she knew more than she let on. "Welcome to Yellow Creek," she greeted me. I thanked her and asked whether she could give some information about the incidents taking place in Yellow Creek. Oh, there's much to tell, but little that can be explained with mere words. Strange happenings have plagued our town for years, and lately, they've only grown more frequent, she responded. As Dr. Thorne led me through the town, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. And it wasn't long before we encountered Ethan Walker, a local radio host who seemed to know more about Yellow Creek's secrets than anyone else. "You shouldn't be here, Alex. This town holds darkness beyond your imagination," Ethan warned, his voice trembling with fear. I could sense the genuine terror in his words, a fear that echoed through the very fabric of Yellow Creek. "What do you mean, Ethan? What darkness?" I pressed, desperate for answers. Ethan hesitated, his gaze darting nervously around us as if afraid that the shadows themselves were listening. "There are things in Yellow Creek that defy explanation," he finally replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "Things that lurk in the shadows, waiting to consume us all." As he spoke, I felt a chill run down my spine, as if the very air around us had turned icy cold. "What things? Can you tell me more about them?" I asked, my voice trembling with a mixture of curiosity and dread. Ethan's expression morphed into one of sheer horror, his eyes widening like saucers as he spoke in hushed tones. "The Sky Guardians," he murmured, his voice a mere whisper in the breeze. "They are ancient entities, as old as the cosmos. Their visage, it defies all comparison. Imagine twisted forms, contorted and grotesque, adorned with scales as dark as the abyss and eyes ablaze with an unearthly glow. I felt a primal fear that clawed at the edges of my consciousness. And what do they want? I asked, my voice barely more than a terrified whisper. Ethan shook his head, his gaze haunted. No one knows for sure, he replied. But one thing is certain, they hunger. Hunger for blood and souls, a thirst that can never be quenched. They are predators, Alex, creatures of the night who stalk their prey with silent malevolence, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As he spoke, I could feel the weight of his words pressing down on me, threatening to suffocate me with their terrible truth. We must leave this place, Alex, Ethan urged, his voice urgent. Before it's too late. His words, although full of caution, only fueled my determination. Ignoring the prickling sensation at the back of my neck, I pressed on, determined to uncover the truth buried within Yellow Creek's darkest depths. As I traversed the labyrinthine streets, the fog thickened, swallowing the world around me in a suffocating embrace. Every step felt like wading through molasses, the weight of the darkness pressing down on me like a physical force. Then, amidst the oppressive gloom, I stumbled upon an ancient manuscript in the local archives, hidden beneath layers of dust and neglect. The brittle pages whispered of a hidden cave, concealed beneath the earth like a forbidden secret, an entrance to the realm of the Sky Guardians. Intrigued, I followed the cryptic clues, my heart pounding in my chest like a drumbeat of impending doom. The journey was treacherous, the landscape unforgiving, but I pressed on, driven by an insatiable curiosity to uncover the truth. The ground beneath my feet grew uneven, jagged rocks threatening to trip me with each precarious step. And then, suddenly, I found myself standing before the hidden cave, its entrance cloaked in shadows, a gaping maw yawning wide with the promise of untold horrors lurking within. I hesitated for only a moment, my breath catching in my throat as a sense of foreboding washed over me. But I couldn't turn back now. Not when I was so close to uncovering the truth that lay hidden within Yellow Creek's darkest recesses. With a steadying breath, I stepped into the abyss, the darkness swallowing me whole as I descended into the belly of the beast. As I ventured deeper into the depths of the cave, a sudden thought began to gnaw at my mind. It was a simple question, yet its implications weighed heavy upon me. If these beings were so terrifying, why did our ancestors refer to them as Sky Guardians? The question lingered like a persistent whisper in the back of my mind, taunting me with its unanswered mystery. Despite the creeping unease that accompanied my thoughts, I pressed on, my footsteps echoing against the ancient stone walls. Each step brought me closer to the heart of the unknown, closer to the truth that lay hidden within the shadows of Yellow Creek. And then, as if in answer to my silent inquiry, I stumbled upon a sight that would forever alter the course of my journey. Inside the cavern, illuminated by a faint, ethereal glow, stood a serpentine being with wings, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Though I had heard countless horrific descriptions of them, I found myself strangely unthreatened in their presence. There was a sense of ancient wisdom and serenity that radiated from the creature, a stark contrast to the fear and uncertainty that pervaded the world outside. For a moment, I stood transfixed, captivated by the enigmatic beauty of the being before me. And in that fleeting moment, I knew that my quest for answers had only just begun. "I have been expecting you, Alex Thompson," the being greeted me, its voice resonating with a strange mix of familiarity and authority. For a moment, I hesitated, struck by an odd sense of recognition. "And what are you?" I finally managed to ask, my voice trembling slightly. We are the Sharpas, beings from the distant galaxies of Andromeda, who have traversed thousands of light years throughout the Milky Way, the being explained, its voice echoing through the cavern with a melodic cadence. We once dwelled upon a planet known as Xylophos, nestled within the heart of the Vicarian Nebula, far beyond your reach. But as the Sharpas evolved, our science and mathematics took a huge leap. It became so advanced that it is beyond your current understanding. As our understanding grew, we uncovered something strange hidden within the fabric of our reality, something so dreadful that changed our faith and our beliefs. Souvlaki continued, his voice tinged with a solemnity that sent shivers down my spine. We found that we were trapped within a complex game, controlled by godlike interdimensional beings whose science and technology were beyond our comprehension. These beings manipulated every aspect of our lives, dictating our fate from behind the veil of existence. As we delved deeper into the mysteries of our existence, we uncovered the darkest secret of all. Souvlaki's words hung heavy in the air, each syllable laden with the weight of centuries of suffering. We were not beings of free will, but mere commodities to these higher dimensional entities. They did not seek our physical bodies, but rather, they harvested our souls. Like fine wine, our souls grew more exotic and delicious with each passing year, nourished by the experiences of our lives. And so, we sought sanctuary on Earth to save humanity from suffering the same fate as our own. Souvlaki concluded, his gaze fixed upon me with a solemn intensity. But why does humanity need to be saved? I asked, struggling to comprehend the enormity of Souvlaki's revelation. As the Sharpas discovered the truth of our existence, we made a grave mistake. Souvlaki's voice was heavy with remorse. In our desperation to rebelling against the godlike beings, we unwittingly sealed the fate of our beloved planet, reducing it to nothing more than cosmic dust. And so, the interdimensional gods turned their gaze upon Earth, impregnating it with life to serve as a new harvest for their insatiable hunger. They seek to harvest souls, Alex. Human souls are a delicacy. They view your world as a ripe orchard, ready for the picking. We stand as the last line of defense, fighting a war you cannot even perceive. Wait a minute, let me process this clearly. So, what are you doing here now? What is your purpose? I questioned, my mind reeling from the implications of Souvlaki's words. We are here to guide humanity, to ensure that they reach their full potential, Souvlaki replied, his voice filled with determination. Throughout the ages, we have influenced the evolution of humanity, guiding them towards scientific advancements that will one day allow them to stand equals to us against the interdimensional gods. As I stood before the serpentine being, its words echoed in my mind. Fear had morphed into an unsettling mixture of curiosity and unease. Their story was incredible, painting a picture of cosmic horror and interdimensional threats beyond human comprehension. Why blood, then? I pressed, my voice betraying a hint of suspicion. If your aim is to guide humanity, why consume livestock, and why you are harming humans? The being's gaze turned introspective, a flicker of sadness crossing its otherworldly eyes. Our physical forms require sustenance, it explained, its voice tinged with regret. While we strive to minimize harm, accidents occur. But know this, Alex, we never target humans. Our true enemies lie beyond your veil of reality. I have a question. This might sound silly, but is there a connection between you and the historic depictions of serpent beings that we have in various cultures and civilizations? I inquired, my voice barely above a whisper. Souvlaki nodded solemnly. Yes, we are the ones depicted in your historical records. In China and Japan, we are revered as dragons, symbols of power and wisdom. In India, we are known as Nagas, revered and feared as divine beings. And in cultures from Egypt to Mayan to Nordic mythology, our presence has been woven into the very fabric of human history. But I still have some questions, I said, unable to shake the feeling of being drawn into a cosmic web of intrigue. How do you know me? And how did you know I would come? Sofaki's eyes held a knowing glint as he responded. Over the ages, we have constructed a sophisticated system that monitors every individual on Earth. We know everything about everyone. In fact, it was us who placed the clues that would lead you to our secret base. His words sent a chill down my spine, the realization sinking in that my every move had been orchestrated by beings far beyond my comprehension. I couldn't help but feel a pang of curiosity. Do you realize how misunderstood you are? People have spun horrific tales around your kind. Sofaki's gaze softened, a hint of sadness flickering in its otherworldly eyes. Yes, we are aware. But it is not within our power to change their beliefs. In some cultures, we are worshipped as deities, while in others, we are feared as monsters. The less humanity knows about us, the better. Humans are not yet ready to fully comprehend and accept our existence. As the weight of Sofaki's words settled upon me, I realized that the truth about the Sharpas was far more complex than I could have ever imagined. As the being spoke, I was overcome by visions of ancient battles and unspeakable horrors. I realized that these beings were not our enemies, but victims of a greater darkness. I listened intently, a sense of relief washing over me at the reassurance that humanity was not the target of their actions. But why is there so much bad reputation surrounding your existence? I pressed, my mind grappling with the complexities of their existence. The being's eyes softened with understanding as it began to address my question. The bad reputation surrounding our existence, with a long and heavy exhale, it explained, stems from centuries of misunderstanding and fear perpetuated by humanity. Perhaps it started with our metaphorical portrayal of a serpent in the Bible, where our intentions were misconstrued, leading to a tainted legacy. However, despite this misunderstanding, our true purpose has always been to guide humanity towards progress and wisdom. Throughout history, our kind has been depicted as monsters and demons in folklore and myth, fueling fear and mistrust among those who do not understand us. However, the being continued, its gaze piercing through the darkness. There have been moments throughout history where we have intervened to aid humanity in times of dire need. We have prevented catastrophic events from unfolding, stopping world wars and nuclear destruction that would have plunged civilization into darkness. As the being spoke, a sense of clarity washed over me, illuminating the tangled web of misconceptions that had surrounded their kind for so long. And in that moment, I realized that their actions, though misunderstood, had always been driven by a desire to protect humanity from the forces of chaos and destruction. A cold truth settled in my gut. The stories, the myths, the whispers of sky guardians haunting in the night, could they be true? But if so, why shroud themselves in secrecy, feeding the very fear they claim to quell? Why not reveal yourselves to the world? I questioned, the ethical dilemma gnawing at me. Wouldn't humanity unite against this common enemy? The being chuckled, a sound like wind chimes tinkling in the void. Humans are not ready, Alex. Fear would cripple you. Your fragile societies would crumble under the weight of such knowledge. The time will come, perhaps, but for now, secrecy is our shield. Uncertainty gnawed at me. Their words resonated with truth, yet a nagging doubt lingered. Was this the only path? Where did our choices, our free will, fit into this grand cosmic struggle? And the whispers of their influence on humanity's evolution? I pressed, desperate for a shred of tangible proof. The being smiled enigmatically. Let's just say, we lend you guys a guiding hand. We ensure humanity walks the path least likely to attract the gaze of our enemies. But ultimately, your choices are your own. Silence descended, heavy with unspoken questions and the weight of a decision that could alter the course of humanity. The alliance they proposed was a Faustian bargain, offering protection at an unknown cost. I need time, I finally murmured, the enormity of the situation crashing upon me. Time to process, to understand the implications. The being nodded, its gaze unwavering. Take all the time you need, Alex. But remember, the clock is ticking. The darkness encroaches, and humanity remains oblivious. As I stepped out of the cave, the world seemed different. The sun, once a source of warmth, now felt cold and distant. The wind carried whispers of unseen forces, and the shadows seemed to dance with a newfound menace. My journey into Yellow Creek had begun with seeking answers. Now, I stood at a crossroads, burdened with a truth too heavy to bear alone. Could humanity truly forge an alliance with these enigmatic beings, or were we pawns in a game far grander than we could imagine? The answer, I knew, would determine the fate of not just Yellow Creek, but the entire world. With each revelation, the pieces of the puzzle fell into place. The shadows that plagued Yellow Creek were not merely a coincidence, but a symptom of a much larger threat. As I emerged from the depths of the cave, the gravity of our mission weighing heavily upon me, I knew decisive action was imperative. The imperative to forge an alliance between humanity and the enigmatic Sky Guardians loomed large. As I joined forces with familiar faces like Dr. Evelyn Thorne and Ethan Walker, it became evident that our efforts needed additional expertise. That's when the esteemed physicist, Dr. Anya Petrova, emerged as a crucial ally. Recognizing the urgency of our situation, we pooled our resources and knowledge to establish a group called the Fractured Watchers. United in our dedication, we stood firm against the encroaching darkness, determined to safeguard our world from the malevolent forces threatening its existence. Understanding the gravity of our mission, we agreed to keep the existence of the Guardians and their knowledge a closely guarded secret. Any breach of this secrecy could have dire consequences, potentially causing humanity to lose its sense of purpose and direction. That is why our formation of the Fractured Watchers was not merely a response to the immediate threat, but a proactive step towards safeguarding the future of our world. But this was just the beginning. There was so much more we had discovered in our conversations with the Guardians, secrets too dark to even put into words. However, one truth emerged clear: the future of humanity would forever be intertwined with these beings. As we advanced, their influence would guide us, shaping our destiny in ways we couldn't yet comprehend. In our relentless pursuit of survival, we came to realize the inherent flaws within humanity. Emotion often clouded judgment, leading to irrational decisions and conflicts. It was then that the concept of merging artificial intelligence with human consciousness emerged, a fusion of man and machine aimed at achieving clarity and balance in our decision-making processes. As we stood on the brink of a new era, our alliance with the Sky Guardians marked the dawn of a new age of cooperation and understanding. Together, we planned to fight with the interdimensional entity and potentially forge a crucial alliance that could tip the scales in our favor. As I stood at the cave entrance, finally feeling relieved at the prospect of promising cooperation, a shroud of uncertainty enveloped me. Despite our efforts to form an alliance with the Sky Guardians, doubts gnawed at the edges of my mind, casting shadows over our supposed triumph. And this is the reason why I am uncovering these secrets when I vowed to uphold secrecy. Recent events have revealed a disturbing truth: humans are too emotional to make logical decisions. Our alliance with the Sky Guardians, once seen as a beacon of hope, now seemed a questionable choice. The integration of artificial intelligence with human consciousness, the merging of man and machine, had initially seemed promising, offering the allure of clarity and balance in our quest for survival. But as we delved deeper into the mysteries of our existence, doubts crept in. Were we willing to pay the steep price of knowledge, risking the erosion of our humanity in exchange for progress? As humanity stands at the edge of a new era, there's a chance that cyborgs could blur the line between humans and machines. We'll have to think hard about what this means. Should we explore the difficult truths about our existence, or are there secrets that are better off kept hidden? As I gazed into the abyss of uncertainty, I couldn't help but wonder if our alliance with the Sky Guardians was a blessing or a curse. And as the shadows closed in around me, I realized that the true battle had only just begun. As we conclude our tale, I urge you to please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your feedback matters, so please share your thoughts. Until next time, stay curious and never lose hope. Thank you for tuning in.